Hello guys, and welcome back to the Sphere Arena, and this is the Kings Lounge. And the journey of life is really funny, whereby so many things happen along the way, and one of these things is getting a kid when maybe you are not prepared to have a kid. There are so many young mothers and young fathers who are facing so much that even they give up in life. We give up in prayer. They give up totally. They're like, my life is done. It's like I can't come back. I can't do this again. Yeah, the kid comes with some engagements, but how do you wake up and still realize that there is still a bright future ahead of you? On today's episode, I'm going to do a very, very touching story of my guest. Maybe she's someone some of you know, you have seen her, but I don't want to make up things for her. She'll introduce herself. But before I do invite her to introduce herself, I want to appreciate the East Side Creatives for powering this interview for today. And remember, just go there on Instagram, on Facebook, search East Side Photography, and give them some love by following them and booking your shoots with them. Without much further ado, let me invite my guest. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Ni lini uliniona mwisho?
Last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
Here we are. Before we get into the depth of your story, maybe first of all, introduce yourself to my people.
My name is Verah Muthike, or you can call me Royal Daughter. But there are those who know me as Mama Dianisa Paul. That's my son's name. And I'm born again. I love the Lord Jesus as my personal Savior. Yes, I have a deep relationship with Jesus Christ. And I'm grateful to God for this far, that even though there have been so many ups and downs, the Lord has been kind to me and He has carried me through. And I think that's why I'm able to come to this show today, just because of the grace of God. Yeah.
Wow. The much God can do in one's life is immeasurable. Maybe can you tell us who is Verah and what do you do?
Verah is, first of all, a mother. And I hear people say double mother, like you act as a father and also a mother. But it's just like saying I'm just a strong mom. And for real, I'm a strong person. And Verah is a journalist by profession. That's what I studied. Although I've not majored in that for like over 15 years. I think it's
15?
because being in media wasn't my take, it was my dad's. He's the one who chose the course for me. And in fact, I just went to do mass communication because I felt coming from Shags to Mombasa, I felt that was a leap. So I got into journalism.
You studied at
regret.
TUM?
Yeah, at TUM. I can't regret, but I've never worked in that line. But I've worked in different lines in relation to the media, like as a front office, in marketing, in sales. Yeah, but not in media per se. Verah is also a worship minister.
Wow.
I've been ministering in different churches. At some point, I was actually an employed worship minister back in Nyahururu. And yeah, I used to get paid to sing. And I think that's the kind of, we find ourselves in different hustles.
Yeah.
So I was at some point employed to sing, to minister, and I raised several people. I've been in different churches. Currently, I am an assistant worship leader at MPC Kilifi. Wow. And I thank God for the grace. I'm also a chapati mistress. So
chapati food ya Denver na smile.
Yes, I do chapatis. And currently I've just opened a small business online whereby I'm selling accessories and some innerwears. That's what I'm doing currently. But mostly I'm a minister. I love ministry. I love serving in ministry. I've been a pastor at some point in 2021, 2022. I was ordained as a pastor. by my dad, who is also a pastor. And I went and launched a church, started a church from zero. And by the way, there was a hitch just because I was a single mom. And you see, in my church, there were many ladies, but the men, they'll be like, I can't be preached to by a single mom. I can't, where is your husband? And of course, they won't come directly to me, but they'll go to my son and ask him, where is your dad? And because my son knows my story, will be like, I don't have a dad. So the men will refuse to come to church. But the moment I handed over the church to someone else, funny enough, the same men I hear, because I moved from that place, I hear they went to the church and they've become also ministers in the same church. So I think in the society there is that stigma of I can't be led by a single mother, in fact a single parent or a single mom. But I come to think of it, maybe if I was married, these men could have come to my church. But anyway, I don't regret anything. It was a good moment, a learning season, and I'm glad and grateful that I'm back to Kilifi.
So basically, to your story, how did you and your, let me say, ex meet?
It's a funny story. I would call him my baby dad. Ours is a bit funny, weird, or strange. I was previously dating someone. That is in 2010, 2011. I was dating someone, 2012. And we were about to get married. The guy had come and visited my parents. I had visited his parents. He had even started the dowry journey. And in the Kikuyu, we call it kohadaivege. Like
What's that?
Kohadaivege, like you come to the lady's family and say, I'm interested in your daughter, and like you're planting a banana stamp to say nobody else is allowed to come and claim this lady. She's mine.
You've marked the territory.
Yeah, that's the word. You've marked the territory. So that guy had done that, and my parents and my family really liked him. And people are like, hey, finally Vera is getting married. That time, I guess I was around 26, 25 there. And he was good. He was handsome. I would say he was the most handsome man I ever dated. I liked him. And he said all the nice things that any lady would love to hear from a man. And I met him in Nanyuki. That time I was staying in Nanyuki. He was really kind. I had been previously heartbroken by another dude. And I met this new one. He's kind, he's sweet. For the first time, a man gave me flowers. That was that guy now. He gave me flowers. He used to buy me teddy bears, chocolates. So I felt loved for the
so
first
your love
time.
language is gifts.
Yeah, I love gifts.
Wow.
So I felt he was doing all the right things. And at the moment I took him to my brother, because I was staying with my brother in Nanyuki. He was like, now we are talking. This is the kind of guy I would like to see you hook up or get married to. So you see, we started off so well.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, I don't know what happened, but I still remember one day somebody called me via private number and told me that time I had moved from Nanyuki to back to Shags.
Yeah.
And somebody just called me and told me, Vera, do you know your guy is dating someone else? I was like, no, he'll never do that. But the guy insisted, the one who called me insisted and said, yeah, we've been seeing him with another girl who is a student at this and this, I won't mention name, this and this college, and he is dating that girl. So I was like, no. But I gathered courage and called the guy, and he was like, no, I'm not playing you. But after doing some investigations, I realized, yeah, he was playing me. And I really got mad. I was angry with God. And this guy tried to talk to me. We reconciled, and he was like, we even called my older brother, and this guy wanted us to reconcile, but was like, if you're playing me when we are dating and you're not even admitting, yet this person who has called me is insisting. And I asked around, and there were guys who used to know him, and they're like, yeah, we've been seeing with that girl. So I was really heartbroken, because remember, I've introduced him to my family. I've introduced him to my bishop. That time I used to be in Nanyuki Gospel Outreach. I was also a minister. And I was so crushed. I've never forgotten. I had even sowed a seed too. You see, these preachers would tell, sow a seed so as to get married. I sowed a seed. My whole salary, I was earning 3,000, but that time it was a lot.
Yeah.
So I felt like God had given me this guy. Then God has taken him away from me. So I got so mad with God, so mad with preachers. But that guy, I think he just wanted me to show me he loved me. So he moved from where he was staying and came to live in the town that I was living that time.
Oh.
Maybe to me he wanted us to reconcile, but I'm that person. Nikikuacha nimekuacha. I don't go back. I don't have a second chance. Yeah. Because I remember now calling my previous ex and telling him I've broken up with this guy. And then my previous ex told me, Vera, that guy is so cute. How are you leaving such a cute guy? Where are you headed to? I was like, there is a man telling me that a fellow man is handsome. I told my previous ex, but we are not going to eat his handsomeness. Because I felt, if you love me, stick with me. Yeah. And by then I had stood with that guy. He was running a business, but he wasn't financially stable. But I could pull strings here and there, tell my parents, support this guy. In fact, my dad had said, when we get married, he's going to support us in his business for us to grow. Because majorly I'm in ministry, but he was a business guy. So you see, my family had really accommodated this person. My bishop had accepted him. We have started the marriage negotiations. But I still remember there was an uncle, aliniharibia. He really, I think he gave him a long list. Na hapo ndio I think jamaa alipotelea. And started dating the other guy. And to make things worse, when I said I don't want any reconciliation, my brother said, you guys can separate, take a break, and then come back after some time as we pray. But you see, mimi nilishaamua, nimetoka. So I didn't go into prayer or try to reconcile. Then like after a month, I'm like, hey Vera, you can forgive this guy and move back with him. But mind you, in the like 1.5 years we had dated, hatukuwa ikosana. Na tukikosana ni kukwaruzana kidogo until, I remember there is a pastor who told me, Vera, haujai kosana na huyu jamaa. Kosaneni ndio mjue how it feels like kutry to come back. Yeah. But sisi, mimi sitaki kusema ni kichwa ngumu, but I'm like, tukiachana tumeachana. So like after a month, I called this guy and I'm like, I want to meet you. I want us to talk. So the guy agreed. We met at some point, nikambaya lunch, we tried to talk. Then I told him, I'm thinking, what if we reconcile and try to work things? Hey, shock on me. The guy said, Vera, I give you a chance, but me nisha move on. Guy, 1 month, nisha move on, 1 month. Nakumbuka, nilitoka hiyo hoteli. I was so mad, so frustrated. I went back. I used to stay I was working in a hotel, so tulikuwa tunaprovidiwa place ya kukaa kwa servant, is it servant quarters? Iko hiyo tu place ya hoteli, kuna place ya kukaa, because I was working as a receptionist. In case a client anakuja past midnight, you can go and welcome the guest, give them a room or take them to have dinner. So I remember I walked back to the hotel feeling really broken and so low. But remember, I'm still born again, very much, and serving God. And so I'm bringing you to how I met my baby dad. See, I'm heartbroken here. I remembered there is this guy who is chatting me on Facebook. And he says, Facebook. And he says he knows me from college. In fact, he used to call me, si wewe ni ule Vera wa CU. As in Verah was you. The moment he said Verah was you, I was like, oh, wow, this guy knows me. Because
that was your name in college?
Yes, I was celeb. Mi nilikuwa celeb wa CU, celeb wa student union. As in, ikifika ni siasa, Verah ako siasa ndani. Ikifika ni church, niko ndani. So this guy calls me by that name. You might not remember me, but see wewe ni ule Verah was you. I'm like, wow. So I remember there is that guy we are chatting with. So I started chatting with him. And he was like, we can do coffee. I was like, yeah, it's not a big deal. Wait for my off day, we can meet. Then he said, by the way, you can come to my place. And remember, this other guy I was with, I'm never scared of men. I'm the only girl in my home, so I'm not scared of men. I can come to your place, we cook, we eat, and I won't mind even spending the night there. Back then. Not now. Right now, I'm very careful. I'll never come to your place. Even if you invite me, I'll tag someone along. But back then, I'll come. And I remember I told my mom, I went home, told my mom that there's this and this guy I've met, and he has invited me to his place. Yes. My mom was like, be careful. Go, but be careful. Shock on me. I went, met the guy, and those days tulikuanga na album za picha. So I was looking at his photo album, and I'm like, when you know this girl, I saw my cousin there. Her name is Verah, just like me. He was like, yeah, this was my best friend in college. So I'm like, so this dude even knows my cousin. Then I don't think he's a bad person. So we met that time. Nothing happened. So I was like, I think I can trust this guy. The next moment I'm meeting him, that's where hell broke loose. And it's within, I think, a month. We met in Feb. And in March, I went to meet him again. But sasa hapa kwa March is when we slept together. And I got pregnant. Remember, I'm from a relationship.
Yeah.
I meet this guy in a month's time, sleeping with him once, I get pregnant.
How do you pick the news?
Ata wata news. I remember after having sex, I came back to my senses and I was like, kuna kitu kama P2. So I called a friend who is a doctor and I asked him, by then nimemes kuna ina. That guy was angry because he was a born again person. He knew me as a born again person. I was like, Verah, of all people, I never expect. I was like, I'm asking you so that you can help me stop condemning me. So he told me, okay, just buy some P2 and take. I took some P2s, but I still got pregnant. So like a week after, I started feeling weird. So I texted the guy and told him, maybe I'm pregnant. He was like, you can't be pregnant. But even if you're pregnant, it's not a big deal. Remember this guy, with the first day I met him, he was like, Verah, Bede, I feel you can make a very good wife. In fact, I would like for you to quit your job. I get you a job from my place of work. You come, we start living together. Then the next moment I'm meeting him, he was like, that time that I slept with him, he was like, by the way, unizalie. I would like to caution ladies. Jamaa akikwambia nizalie. Guys, jivute masikio hivi. Jivute masikio, because he said, by the way, unizalie. At my age, I need a kid. Mimi Verah, na ujinga zangu na kiherehere zangu. I slept with that guy, but I was heartbroken. And then, the moment I felt like, by then kama niko na ball, I text, not my ex-boyfriend, the other boyfriend I had, my ex, and told him, I feel pregnant, like I'm pregnant, and I don't know what to do. He was like, Verah, go for a test. So I was like, what if I am pregnant? What will happen? My dad will kill me. I remember that guy told me, Verah, stop thinking about your dad. Think about yourself. I told him, my dad is a pastor. He's going to kill me. He was like, go for the test. So I went for the test. I remember it was raining. This is Nanyuki, very cold. It was raining. It was my off day. I went to a clinic, asked for a pregnancy test. Akiata haiku last 3 minutes. Niliamba, si uko na ball. Gosh, I cried. I just told that lady, it's okay, and left.
Did you now, like, you're leaving and You're going back home?
No, I was going back to the office. Then I told myself, because it's raining, but then nikikam kwa hii hosi nilikuwa nimeomba ruhusa ya kwenda lunch hour. Kwa church yenye nilikuwa naenda. So nikajiambia, nini nitafanya nisiende lunch hour? I said, instead of going back to the hotel where I was working, let me go for the lunch hour first, then go to the hotel. So I went for the lunch hour meeting. The service was good, but I was just crying. I can't tell you what was being preached or what was being said, but I went back to the hotel. Then I called this guy. He didn't pick my calls. I texted him. Earlier I had told him I'm going for the test. So I texted him and told him I'm pregnant. The guy switched off his phone. And then I texted him again. I told him I want to see you, so I'm coming tomorrow. He called me and said, I won't be available. I'm going to see my auntie in Naivasha. I didn't sleep. Then this guy had the audacity to tell me, Vera, how am I sure that you are pregnant for me? Remember, you have an ex, Vera. How sure am I that this pregnancy is mine? Guy, mtu ametoka kuniambia, Vera, si unizalie. Then ananiambia, how sure am I that this pregnancy is mine? I was like, am I hearing right? Ama, wewe ni pepo mgani na nani amekutuma? I think after a week or so, I can't remember so well, he agreed. So I went to visit him. And I asked him, what's your take? He said, tell your parents. Tell your parents about it. I was like, no, I'm not telling my parents about this. I was like, Vera, gather courage, tell your parents, let's hear what they say.
Yeah.
So I looked at it and said, I cannot call my mom or my dad. I would rather text them. I sent my mom a long message and I told her, nobody should judge me. By November, that was in March, I told my mom, by November you will be a grandmother, but I don't want anyone to judge me. And I switched off my phone. My mom tried calling me, but by then I had switched off my phone. So when this guy came in the evening from work, he was like, so what was your parents' response? I told him I've switched off my phone. So he said, switch on your phone. I want to hear what's your parents' response. So I switched on my phone and my mom called immediately. And she was like, we understand you. You've been through a lot. You've just been left by some guy. But we understand you and we are not condemning you. I was like, then the next statement she made is, what's your, the owner, who is the owner of the pregnancy? I was like, it's that guy I told you. I was like, okay, and what is he saying? I was like, I'm here at his place, we are discussing. My mom was like, we've agreed and we think it's good for you to leave the job you're doing and go stay with that guy. Let him take care of you and your baby. So after our talk with my mom, I told the guy what my parents had said. He was like, I still remember what he said. He laughed and said, haha, Vera, with such hard economic times, you expect me to take care of you and this pregnancy that I'm not even sure is mine. Unaonanga kwa sofa, yeye alikuwa amekaa kwa sofa, mimi nimekalia hapa kwa mkono ya sofa. Nilisikia maji. Nilisimama tu kwa kiti, kaenda nikalala. I didn't eat. Then very early in the morning, kamwambia nipatie fare nirudi. Kaambia mimi sina pesa. I called my mom. It was on a Sunday. Kaambia, Mom, send me 500. My mom didn't ask for what. My mom gave me 500. I just left and went back to my workstation. The guy tried calling me. I didn't pick the calls because unani frustrate. Mimi niko pregnant. Ni ulisitiza nikuzalie. Sasa ushaanza kusema you are not even sure this pregnancy is yours. But after I went back to my workplace, we started communicating. And he was like, don't worry, we will figure things out. Yeah. But venye tu maisha inasonga, unaona this guy is not interested. Ni kama ni mimi najiforce. Na mimi ni nani? siwezi jiforce kwa mtu. So I told my parents what the guy had said and they were like, okay, quit kazi, rudi nyumbani. Cause first of all, umetu embarrass. Hiyo by workplace yangu nilikuwa najulikana kama mchungaji. Sasa mchungaji ako na ball.
And actually hapo kwa you are at your workplace, this is now the society. How does the society, because the society has its own ways of judging people and viewing people. Let's say someone is very young, still in school, and they're like, oh, so you went to school kutafuta ball, or even they usually have that perspective of kwani church girl tena unapata ball. How did you take these views, the negatives? And I know that they're positive, but majorly the negatives. There where someone is judging you. How did you just?
I would say first of all, it wasn't easy. It was very hard for me. But this nalala at night, I'll just be thinking. If I'm not at the receptionist, I'm just crying or just thinking. And then bide sikuacha kwenda church. I still continued kwenda church. But sikuambia watu kwa job niko na ball because my parents were like, don't let anyone know uko na ball. But unajua kuna craving uko nazo zenye watu wako wanajua, because I remember I used to send people, kuna zile sweet zinaitwa KSL, na kwambia endo unitafutie KSL different colors. This lady akaniuliza, "Hey Vera, ovile tunaitisha different colors za sweet. Kuna nini ama uko na ball?" I'm like, "Hapana, mimi siwezi pata ball." But eventually si itaonekana.
Yeah.
And I remember people really criticized me. Pastor ako na ball. And like 4 months into the pregnancy, I was really big and I went to hospital for the, inaitwa antenatal for the first time. And that's when now my ex, mwenye alikuwa amenitolea dowry, aliget kujua niko na ball. Because his brother-in-law alikuwa na wako kwa hiyo hosi. So kuna watu pia waliniona pale. And they called the guy and they're like, "Ai, kwani ule demo wako ako na ball? Ama mshapanga kuzaa pamoja?" Remember hatukuwa tumeachana muda mrefu.
Yeah.
Then the guy called me and asked me, "Ai Vera, umesikia umeonekana kwa antenatal, kwani uko na ball?" I was like, "Yeah." Then he said, "Ni ya nani na tangu lini ukaanza kukua generous?" As in generous na mwili yangu nimeanza kujipeana lini, because hatukuwa break up muda mrefu.
Yeah.
So alikuwa zile za, remember you're still my wife, utapataje ball uko nje?
Yeah.
But that time, hiyo season ndio sasa my parents wakasema quit your job kabisa and come. My dad said, quit job, come home. That day yenye niliambiwa ni rest. Hosi from the antenatal. My mom called me and said, "Ati unakuja wapi? Nisikuone kwangu. I can't afford watu kukuona ukiwa na ball." So father anasema, "We come home to plan." Mother anasema usikuje. So
nataka quit job.
So siwezi kaa job, siwezi enda home, sijui kwenye nitaenda. So I called my elder brother. Alikuwa anaishi Nairobi. But pia hakuwa na job ya maana, alikuwa na hustle. My brother didn't pick my calls. But of course hawajui niko na ball. Sikuwa nimeambia my siblings. Remember my parents said, nobody should know that you're pregnant. So nika call my cousin mwenye anaitwa Vero sasa. Nikamwambia, "By the way, naweza come kwako?" Akaniambia ni sawa, kuja. So my dad ananipigia aniza, "Uko wapi na nataka kukufuata nikuchukue?" Cause pia father hataki watu wanione nikiwa na ball. So mpaka nikuje na gari yake, niingie kwa gari. Nikiwa distance watu wasinio. So I told my dad nimeenda Nairobi. I was like, "Oh, okay, we will talk." So I go explain things to my cousin and she was like, "Okay, come ukae na sisi." Then later in the evening my brother akachukua simu ndio akaambia, "Yeah, you can come and stay with me." My brother was like, "Oh, baba mtoto anasema nini?" My brother is a pastor. Huyo mkubwa
Familia wa ubiri bana.
So my brother, by the way, anitangwa Steve. Thank you Steve. Alinishikilia, akatafuta jobs zingine 2, alikuwa teacher kwa tu college. So akapata jobs 3 just to feed me. Jua pregnant woman venye kwanga na craving. And then akaniambia, "Unaona home siwezi enda." Bro akasema, "Sasa bro anaishi na bro mdogo, mimi na cousin yangu kwa bed sitter. Nairobi to bed sitter sijui hata zinatoshanaje, but tuko hapo sisi wote." Kumbuka nimezoea pesa yangu kwa hoteli, nimezoea tips. Hiyo hoteli ilikuwanga ni hoteli ya wazungu na the Africans so kuna tips.
Yeah.
But hapa nimekuja kuwekwa na bradhangu. It wasn't easy. But one thing I remember my brother said. He said, look at your situation like umeanguka kwa matope. Hii matope ni ile matope thick iko mpaka na maji ndani yake. Ukianguka hapo kwa hiyo matope, utakaa tu hapo ukiroll. Nikamwambia kaambia you stand up, you rise from that mud, you go to the house, clean up na una change nguo. So katika hii situation yako, toka kwa hiyo mud, rise up, toa hizo nguo, oga and start living again. And akanialau kukuwa naenda church yake. Na sio tu kwenda, I used to minister in his church and I used to lead the services every Sunday mpaka the last Sunday ndio nijifungue ndio si kwenda. Wakikuwa na crusades, I'll be there ministering with my pregnancy. Remember watu church ya home hawajui.
Yeah.
So I remember there is this day my brother organized crusade, wase wa home wakakuja Nairobi sasa kuminister.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was 8 months pregnant. That was the first time wase wa church ya home
walijua kuna ball.
Walijua niko. Some didn't even greet me because I'm a sinner. Utakuwa aje na ball, kulienda aje? Some were looking at me from a distance, ile za guy, msichana wa pastor ako na ball. Na kwani bado anatuimbisha. But see, my brother had given me a platform to heal. Na alinichukua, like, nearly spent so much on me, emotionally, financially, spiritually. He invested so much on me.
Let's talk about your mental health there.
I would say, okay, mentally nilikuwa very depressed. Remember nilikuwa na chat na my baby dad once in a while. Kuna time nikamwambia, "Baby, hizo nguo nilileft kwako, si unitumanishie?" He was like, no. But after kumconvince bado alinitumanishia But mentally, naweza sema ilifika place nasikia ni kama niko depressed. Because I was feeling like my parents bado waliniwekea business in Nairobi ya kuuza matunda, and although they supported me, I was feeling ni kama siko sawa. And remember, a pregnant woman would like sio tu support ya pesa, but the emotional support is very, very, very vital. And as much as I would say my brother was giving me the support, my parents were supporting me, but unaona wamekataa nikae nyumbani Yeah. My cousin is there, yeye na husband yake, but wakati unabaki peke yako, zile mawazo zinakukujia. Because I was asking myself, what if my baby dad is here for me and my pregnancy? Kwa pregnancy yangu, tangu nipate hiyo ball, all through the pregnancy, I didn't engage in any sexual intercourse. And ningekaa hivi nalia tu peke yangu. Kumbuka, sikuwa tight sana na madhe ati naweza mpigia nimwambie ina. Mabeshte zangu pia nao wako zile za, okay, mtu atakuonyesha upendo, but maybe at the back, kulingana venye nilikuwa naona, at the back of their mind wanajiuliza, ai, atavera. Na venye tulikuwa tunaona wewe ndio tu tumaini letu. Umpia mess up. So kuna hiyo pia unajiuliza, kulienda aje? This is not what I had anticipated in life. So I would say, but then ilikuwa depressed. Kulala ilikuwa ni issue. There are days sitalala. Pia kuna time nilikuwa naenda tu hosi just for check up juu tu najipata naumwa mpaka my brother could tell me, stop thinking, you are just thinking too much, and if you continue like this you might lose the pregnancy ama pia wewe ukufe. So it wasn't an easy journey, but by the way, my parents kuna time ilifika wakanilipia NHIF, wakanipatia hosi yenye nilibuke for delivery, wakanitumia the 2K that was needed. My brother sent me another 2K that was needed, na pia mimi nilikuwa nimejekea the 2K And then I remember texting my baby dad nikiwa around 6 months sasa, nikamwambia baby, si unisaidie kununua vitu za mtoto. Nikamtumia list. Alinitext back akaniambia, even my first child didn't cost me that much. Guys, nilianguka chini, then I started crying. Then my brother akanipata hapo tena, kaza unalia, kamwambia ona hii message. So babangu akaisoma was like, nikwambia achane na huyu jamaa. lakini wewe hausikiangi nini nini unataka sijakupatia. But I was like inside me niko zile za baba mtoto anafaa bebe msalaba wake, not my brother. Then after brother wangu ameniambia niachane na yeye, mimi nikaachana na huyu jamaa. But after some days akatuma 8k. Hiyo time anatuma mimi na cousin yangu alikuwa amejifungua on Feb, ako married Overo. Na mimi najifungua November. So cousin yangu alikuwa ashanipatia stuff za mtoi. But we had just discussed, nikasema si hata baba mtoto pia achangie. So venye alinitumia hii 8k sikuwa na kitu yenye nazifanyia. So si tulienda tu kwa hoteli tukajibamba na cousin yangu. 8k sijaisahau. Nguruwe nini tukakula, but of course nilisave kitu kidogo Then nikakaa November nikajifungua. By the yesterday was my son's birthday. It's 10 years. Hii story nakupatia ni ya 2013. So yesterday ilikuwa my son's 10th birthday. And hiyo siku nilijifungua sijaisahau. My baby dad text me. Vera uko aje? Jiuliza kwani huyu mtu ni ghost ama ni spirit inanifuata, amejuaje niko maternity ward? So nikamtext nikamwambia nimejifungua kijana. Alinitext congratulations. Hata kuniuliza tunaita mtoto nini? Nitamuona aje? He said nothing.
So there are those roles he was to play, like providing a name and those stuff. So you had to step in from day one. Now it's 10 years. How did you step up to play the roles that the father is to play in the life of the child? And how has it been?
So after nimejifungua, in fact it's my brother who took me to hospital when my waters broke. So pale kwa registration si waliandika Veronica ameletwa na Steve. So they got the details. In fact, if you look at my baby's birth notification, imeandikwa baby dad, father's name, Stephen Modhara. That's my brother. But kwa birth certificate sasa ndio nilitoa because they thought this is my husband. So jina nilikuwa nishapanga tayari. Nilikuwa nimecombine majina za kila mtu nyumbani nikapatia as a name to my son. So from there my parents came to visit me the first week Nairobi. Madhe venye alishika kale katoto nikasikia madhe na father ameniambia by the way simkuje nyumbani. Remember my mama alikuwa amesema until mtoto wako 2 years ndio uko allowed kukuja home. So that time wakasema hivyo, I was like I'm not coming home. You guys said until ako 2 years because nimewa embarrass, na ni kweli niliwa embarrass. They didn't, my mom could say always sikutarajia hii kutoka kwako. Then after like a week a friend of mine came akaona venye nateseka pale kwa nyumba, akaniambia Vera, Sunday na kukujia na kupeleka kwenu. So akakuja na gari yake akanirudisha home. My parents supported me. Mimi nimeona hiyo wiki moja yenye nilijifungua, I was staying with my brother. My friends could come and visit, but usiku mtoto akianza kulia, my brother anachukua mtoi, yeye ndiye anamuimbia, yeye ndiye anamfanya alale. Then now venye naenda home, my dad is a very good babysitter. My mom see a very good babysitter, but my dad is an excellent babysitter. My dad made sure nilikuwa na thermos ya uji, thermos ya chai ya chocolate, thermos ya soup.
Wow.
But then nilishoot kgs over 100.
Wewe?
Sasa nikiwa home, kuna ile nimefungiwa nisitoke nje watu wasinione na mtoto. In fact nikienda clinic, my dad angeniingiza kwa gari yake hapo kwa nyumba, hapo nje ya nyumba, ani drive mpaka hosi. Then aniambie ukitoka tu unipigie, niwakuji. Then nikajiambia bedhe mbona father utaka kunipeleka hosi na nikujia hapo hosi, sinaweza chukua boda. Then I realized maybe hakuwa anataka nionekane na watu na mtoto. So my parents supported me very very much, and they provided. But sasa nikiwa home, kitu tu ikaniambia si upige ule mse umwambie hata uko home baby dad. Nikamtext. Oja Kenya aliniambia, that was in December 2013. Aliniambia, I text him nikamwambia, I would like to know what's your plan for me and the baby. Kai nili regret nilikuwa nauliza nini. Aliniuliza, aliniambia, I have no plans. Hiyo message ni kama nimeikram. I have no plans towards you or the baby. I am not even sure that baby is mine. Until siku nitamuona ndio ni confirm. I have moved on. na niko na familia. Wacha nilie. Madhe akakuja akanipata nikilia. She was like, mbona unalia? Kaambia imagine huyu mtu amesema hana any plans na mimi na hayuko interested na amesema ameshaoa. So my mom by the way kwa msee mwingine sijui kama hananga huruma ama hananga kwa kapati kahuruma, aliangalia. So unalia juu ya mwanaume? I was like, okay, kwani sifai kulia juu ya mwanaume? She was like, mtoto ako hapa, tutalea, mtoto atagrow and life will move on. And by the way, that happened. Yeah. They've been there for me. It's now 10 years. There have been so many ups and downs. But ilifika place waka embrace my son. Right now, my son is staying with my parents. Yeah. And hata kuna time nimeambia madhe this year. Madhe, unakumbuka ukiniambia nisikai kuja home mpaka mtoto wako wetu yeza kanza. Mimi nikasema hivyo. So she even forgot that alikuwa amesema umetu embarrass. Don't ever come back home. Yeah. But I would say the journey wasn't easy. There are times ningesema acha nipigie msee nisikia atasema aje. Bethia alikuwa tu aniambia hana pesa. Na saa hiyo mimi nakumbuka hiyo time nilidoze kwake. Mimi ni mtu mwingine mfani. Nilienda tu kwa cabinet yake nikapata ma payslip hapa na nikaangalia nikaona alikuwa na range ya 50-60k. That's 2013. Alafu msee anakuambia Bethe nimerudi shule mimi sina pesa. Time nitamaliza shule nitakuwa nime upgrade job nitaanza kuwasaidia. So there are times I just send him an SMS na mwambia Bethe si unisaidie mimi na mtoi ama si usaidie tu mtoto wako. Si unisaidie school fees. Like last year then nilikuwa down, sikuwa na pesa, sikuwa na nini. So nikamtumia list ya vitabu. Akanitumia 4k ya kubai vitabu. My parents were like, okay, take the money. Aya, kuna another time nikamtumia message nikamwambia school fees imebaki hii. So imagine unaambia mtu school fees imebaki 16k. Anakutumia 1400. I still remember I didn't say thank you. Nilikuja kumthank baadaye. Because I was still mad at this guy. Yeah? But I think by closure ya last year 2022 ilifika tu place nikasema why am I disturbing this guy? Si amenionyesha hana interest. Cause kama hauna interest na mimi si unisaidie kulea mtoto, si ni wako. But kama unanitumia ukituma sana unatuma 3,000 4,000. Isipokuwa hiyo time nakwambia alituma 8,000. Ajaituma kitu ya maana. So I was like siniachane tu na umsi. And then kama anakutumia pesa unasikia akisema Bethe nimewamiss, nitakuona lini? Bethe you look beautiful. So kwa akili yangu najiambia na ashainiambia ujue as long as we ni single mother kwanza wa kijana huwezi pata mtu wa kukuoa. And I was like, okay, do you think I can live like that? If I want to get married, I'll still get married. But unaona umse hana interest na mtoi. But last year sijui nini nilikuwa imeniingia nikaambia mtoto about his dad, nikamwambia I would like you to meet him. I met this guy last year. And nikamwambia Bethe ningependa pia wewe umeet mtoto wa cause alimuona once. Tulipitana tu kwa streets. That time mtu yeye alikuwa around 3 months nilikuwa natoka clinic nikapata tu naye kwa simu nikamwambia Bethe mtoto wako ndiye huyu. Kachukua mtoto akamuona, tukaenda kwa hoteli, nikabaiwa chipo. Nikapelekwa Naivas, nikanunuliwa diapers za 1 month, nikanunuliwa trouser ya mtoto moja na t-shirt. Mtoto mpaka sasa anavanga hiyo t-shirt moja na hiyo trouser. So I had to last year when I told my son I would like you to meet your dad, he was excited. But remember, unaona hii story ya CBC nayo. Ni poa na si poa. Cause kuna time wanasoma about a family. Father, mother, children. So walisoma hiyo kitu I think alikuwa grade 1. Mtu alikuja akaniuliza in 2021. Mom, tumesoma father, mother and children. Mimi mbona sina father? And then you see when I'm calling my dad, siku ya nyumbani mtoto wangu anasikia tukisema daddy. Sasa yeye akakuwa akiuliza mimi daddy wangu yuko wapi? I went to my pastor BD. I'm so grateful to my pastor. I told my pastor, Pasi, mtoto wangu ameniuliza hivi na hivi. He told me, Vera, tell your child the truth. Don't exaggerate. Don't lie. let him grow knowing. Na usione ati ni mtoi. That time alikuwa, is it 8 or 7? Akaniambia usi mtoto wako anakuanga amechanuka, mwambie kila kitu in details. Ile yenye unaona anafaa kujua wacha ajue. So mimi nikaenda nikaambia mtoi everything. He was like, so babangu aliniacha. So babangu hata ana shughuli na mimi. Then last year when niliintroduce your story ya mtoto wangu kumit baba, he was like, yeah, I would like it to happen. But tunapanga hai happen. Namwambia ni siku, anasema niko available. Hiyo siku ikifika siko available. So I was like, Bidhe Vera, mbona unajipush kwa huyu jamaa? So nikaona, oh, mimi ndio niko interested, wewe hauko interested.
Yeah.
Then mimi kwa akili yangu nilijiambia, sio mse alisema yeye ni Mluya. Waluya watahiringi watoto wao mapema, it's until umegrow. So akasema, ujue mtoto kama utaimtahiri ni wako si wangu. Mimi ni nani? Mtoto venye alifika 5 years, si mtoto ni wangu. See, it's my family has been raising him. Nikaenda nikatahirisha mtoto. Remember all this while, it's my family who is supporting me and my baby.
Yeah.
But I remember when the baby was around 6 months, hiyo time tumepatana na yeye kwa barabara memeet mtoto. Alitaka turudiane. But mimi nikasema, si ulisema uko na familia, tunarudiana aje? I remember that time kwenye nilikuwa naishi, I was living with some friends of mine. Aliinsist anataka kukuja. My brother akampigia akamuuliza, unataka kuchukua mtoto wako, unataka kuchukua sistangu? Unajua mimi ndio nililea hiyo mimba. Where were you nikilea hiyo mimba? Nimekwambia babangu alitafuta kazi zingine 2 haso ndio anifeed mimi na mtoi. This guy was nowhere to be found. Babangu akamuuliza hivyo. Tena akamwambia, if you want your son, do things the right way. But ile kapo nilikuwa naishi nao, wakaanza kuagi, wakasema hatuta huyu anasema, bibi anasema sitaki kumuona, jamaa anasema ni akuje tu. So at the end of the day hatukuwai meet. But I would say haijakuwa rahisi. But what has been my pillar?
Yeah, throughout.
It is my faith in God. Nili go back full swing in ministry. My dad embraced me back in his church.
Yeah.
Nikakaa nikalea mtoto wangu, church nikakuwa naenda, watu waliongea. Wamama waliongea, wamama wa kijijini mpaka waongea. And then
na hiyo kitu ina demoralize
mse na inakufanya usikie frustrated mpaka unajiuliza, mbona mimi nisizae? Kwani mimi niko na shida gani?
Or is it a mistake kupata mtoto at a young age?
Shida ni wanasema, huyu ni mtoto wa pastor, tuna expect maisha yake ikue sijui excellent ama ukue malaika, but I'm a normal child. As much as I'm a pastor's kid, as much as I have been raised in church, I am a normal human being. Ni kama kusema you don't expect a man of God to sin. He is a man before he becomes of God. So anyone anaweza fall into sin. Whether wewe ni mtoto wa pastor, whether wewe ni pastor, whether wewe ni just a mere church goer, unaweza pia wewe anguka kwa dhambi. So my faith in God ili rise. Nikakuwa Vera ni church, Vera ni kulea mtoto. Vera church, kulea mtoto. And now after ilifika place nikasema, my mom used to tell me, unaona sasa hivi wenye watu wanakuona wataongea, but after hii season watanyamaza, cause your story will no longer be hitting the headlines. As in kutakuwa na story nyingine.
Story.
Yes, kutakuwa na story nyingine imetokea, so yako itakuwa imezi. Na ni kweli story yangu ilikuja ikaisha. Nobody now talks of Vera being a pastor's kid who is pregnant or who has a kid. Nikaanza kwenda hata kwa crusades, ministering in the crusades with my baby. And people started coming out. I still remember there is somebody who inboxed me on Facebook na akasema, juu mimi sikuficha pregnancy yangu, hata kwa Facebook nilikuwa na post. There is a lady who texted me akaniambia, Vera, you have been a pillar to me. Tangu post uonyeshane uko pregnant. I've walked with you in that journey, cause hiyo time ulipost uko pregnant, pia mimi ni church, ni mtu born again na nilikuwa na mimba, but I was wondering how do I go about it. But venye niliona Vera hata anaionyeshana, Vera hata bado anaongea about God, bado amerudi church. Yeah. It's not a big deal. So I was like, wow, you mean even in my mistakes, I was still helping someone. And that is why I would say, I don't like hiding my story. I don't like hiding the stuff that I've gone through because I've realized it's helping someone else. Sio mimi tu peke yangu. Cause musema, soma na story yangu. Usingoje mpaka upitie hiyo story ndio useme hey, by the way kukua single mom hivi ndio inakuanga ama kukua single parents hivyo ndio iko challenging. Soma na story yangu.
And actually guys, on that story yake, she has a YouTube channel, Verah Royal Daughter. You can go there and she's using the story she went through. It's really a touching story, and so many people are on that place right now, considering the generation ya sahi msako 13 kuna mtoi, so many young girls are on that kind of situation. If you wanna get out of that situation, you're wondering how did it happen, because actually we are about to end this year, the last part. There is a lot to be discussed, and she usually does that in her channel. Just search Verah Royal Daughter, you will find her, and I'll also attach the link to her channel on the description box of this same video. As we end this, what will you do next to enter a relationship?
Ati my next relationship, sitaki kupeana story mrefu, lakini by then nilikuja na nikaolewa, nikafanya harusi takatifu. But okay, tulimari kwa AG, then tukafanya church ceremony. Okay, ilikuwa harusi ya ukweli kanisani na harusi ya AG kabisa. But haiku last, kiliniramba. And I'm back to being a single mom. And currently I'm not dating, but I wouldn't mind to get married because I feel like marriage is my thing. Just that I've not met
the right
guy. Kama kuna wana Mr. Right, but nasema huyo mwenye Mungu amenitengenezea, and God has kept.
Do you believe Mungu ametengeneza?
Aki, I believe 100%. I believe there's someone meant for.
I was told they only give you raw materials, you have to go make it.
Sikatai, yani azin, si ati kutengenezwa ameundwa kila kitu. Hapana.
He meets some qualities.
Yes. Yeah. Especially hapo kwa mtu mwenye anapenda ministry, mtu mwenye anapenda God, has a personal relationship with God. That's what I'm looking. Someone who will accommodate my son like his own. Wachana na hizi stories za napenda mtoto wako, hapana. Show it, prove it. Na hata kuna wenye wana show na wana prove, but at the end of the day kuna kale ka instinct kana kwambianga as a mother, umse hayuko serious, itu ni show na create. But in my next relationship, pastor wangu lazima ako approve. My pastor currently ni Pastor BD, amewalk na mimi since 2019. I'm so grateful to God for him. He knows my story. My pastor must approve you. First of all, God must approve you. But pastor wangu, Pastor BD mpaka ako approve. My parents must approve you. Because I feel like in my previous marriage, sasa yenye iliende, had I listened to my pastor, huyo pastor mwenye nilikuwa under him, that time mwenye aliniambia, Vera, can we put a post to this wedding? Kwanza tujue huyu jamaa. Lakini mimi ni nani? I was tired of being called a single mom. I was tired of my son asking, mama, mimi nitapata baba lini? So I got into a marriage that ended in a month. But kwa hiyo next relationship, sasa nimejivuta masikio. I have learned. I have the experience, tangible experience, and I believe nimeheal. And hii season imekuwa tu season ya just serving God, being there for my son, finding myself, knowing myself better, working on myself. And I used to be that person mwenye si very forgiving. But then this year ndio nimesikia kabisa nimeforgive my baby dad na nimemlet go.
Wow.
Kabisa. Baby, there is a time my son ananiambia, si ublock mtu kila time ukiwa na furaha unamtaja. Wakati umekasirika haumtaji. So I realized by then na hurt even my son. So I told myself, let me forgive this person na nimrelease. Na niskai mtext, niskai mcall. Kama niko na shida, wacha I text my parents or friends. Or my family, but niskai mhusisha. Kama Mungu atawai angetaka he be part of my son, by the sitakata. Akisema I would like to see my son, mimi sijawahi kata na sitawahi mkataza. But what I cannot do is to give him my son. 10 years is a long time for you to have made up your mind that I want to be part of this child's life. Kama haujakuwa hapo 10 years, tunaongelelea nini? Kama uone mtu wako, hata si ukam, ni to meet uone mtu wako, but he's not yours. Bele kwa birth certificate ya mtu wangu, sijamwandika. It's blank. That is me.
Now, briefly, maybe it's a journey you've walked for so long. You have learned a lot, the goods and the bads, the pitfalls. There is this story of someone who's in a hole. Two people passed, they didn't help, but the third person jumped into the hole and told the guy, I've jumped in this hole because I know the way out of this hole. I was once here. What do you tell the single moms around? There are so many actually in Kilifi County, ni wengi sana, where we are right now. And also, just briefly, what is your message to young people in love relationships?
To the single moms or to the single parents, because you can either be a single father or a single mother, I'd like to tell them there is hope. There is a lot of hope, especially if you are born again and you have a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
Because it's not all that is lost. There are still good people there. There are still God-fearing men there or women who are ready to start a relationship, to love you, to love your son. But kwanza jielewe, jijue, and know what you want in life. Know what you want in a man or in a woman. And let God be the one who is leading you and directing your steps. Usifanye tu vitu sababu you are tired like me of being a single mom, so you want your child to have a father. No. Ambia God, order my steps, direct my paths. And God, if you see that this man I want to get married to is not the man you have created or intended for me to be with, Mungu muondoe. That's a prayer I always make. And to the single people who want to get married, pia wao nitawaambia kuna hope, but be very careful na relationships. Avoid sex before marriage. Avoid entering into relationships zile za like in colleges, in universities, utapata people are sleeping around left, right and center. You're dating. Every semester uko na msichana mgeni. Every semester uko na chali mgeni ama mpya.
Yeah.
Ama uko na mbabas, uko na student na uko na chali wa kwenu ushago. Be very careful. As much as utasema I'm having safe sex or
Protected sex.
I'm having protected sex. Remember kuna vitu tunaitanga soul ties, and they are very hard to break. It's been a journey on me breaking those soul ties. Currently nime-manage, but let's be very careful. Hapo kwa kuenjoy sex before marriage, wachana nayo. Then have someone who is guiding you. Currently, I have several accountability partner. One of them, the major one, being my Pastor BD. Pasi akiniambia, Vera, huyu run, I run away. Cause I believe, huyo mse, mimi ndio niko in love, huyo mse hayuko in love. And him also being a spiritual authority, kuna kitu anaona yenye sioni. Mimi mwenye niko in love, una get?
Love is blind and stupid.
But ukiwa hapo ndani ndio macho yako itafunguka. Kama ukiwa na third person mwenye anaona beyond what you can see, atakusaidia katika kufunguka macho. But kama uko shule, akisi usome tu kwanza. Relationship wachana nayo. By the way, mimi sikuingia kwa relationship until after college. My first relationship I was 24 years. Najua sasa hivi mna count age yangu mnataka. I'm almost 40. Mimi si young. I'm almost 40. But I thank God for the grace.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll say is that there is a way God to huku protect, huku cover na glory yake. Mimi nimeona nikikatiwa hata na watoto wa 23 years. Then unaambia mtu miaka yako yako zile za guy. Uko serious? Sawa, kuna hiyo story ya kuoga na kurudi soko iko sawa, but maintain. But the key thing, work out your relationship with God. Na usiseme wacha nitumie example ya Vera. If you feel that your baby dad is responsible, allow him into your child's life. akisema I would like us to co-parent, mimi wangu angesema hivyo guy, ningepiga makofi niseme asante Yesu, lakini hakusema na hajawahi sema. Kama mtu ataka ku-co-parent, kindly allow them, lakini kama kuna zile boundaries unaweza jiekea, wacha boundaries zikue. Usikue sasa mmeanza ku-co-parent tena umeanza kulala na yeye, umepata mtoi mwingine tena amekufukuza tena, umeanza ni kama
the circle
imeanza tena. And then pia kuna historia, ukitafutia mtoto wa kwanza unajipata umelala na mwingine, umepata mtoi mwingine. Jielewe kwanza, is this what you'd like to do in life? As much as unatafutia mtoto, tunaambiangwa ni Sauti Sol aliimba akasema kila mtoto anakuja na sahani yake. I believe there is a day nikiwa pregnant, I think hiyo time tu nimetoka house, was around 2 months pregnant. I went to church for lunch hour service. I was worshiping and lifting my hands. Sikuwa na minister. I still remember what God told me. I know how to see you through. Sijai sahau hiyo kitu. God said, I know how to see you through. So nikaitake ni mimi na mtoto wangu. I was depressed. But sini Mungu amesema, I know how to see you through. Every time I feel frustrated, ni kama ninaomba naambia Mungu, Mungu ulisema, I know how to see you through. In this situation, it is becoming really tough. God, see us through. Give us a way out. And by just relying on God, you may find strength.
Wow. Hey. Sijui cha kusema. And day in the Kings Lounge, it was kind of tough, can't say. But thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I know the story continues on your YouTube channel, so people will just have to come and learn and continue using your story, so that at least you help wanajita Generation Z, Gen Z, the Generation Z. So let's help them rescue more of them from that bondage. What I'll say is, they usually say, vibe until you realize you deserve the title of a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Till we meet again, I was your host Mavali Derek Dangote. Keep it the Sphere Arena, keep it the Kings Lounge. Remember to like, comment, subscribe and share. Have a lovely day.